y'all, hey y'all, hey. It's your auntie, August. We're here tuning in on this Thursday. And guess what? It's Thanksgiving Thursday. I almost forgot. So, if you eating, you haven't had your breakfast, your dinner, your lunch, or whatever you want to call it, y'all can tune in and eat at the same time. Remember, if you are watching me on Power Influence Radio on the YouTube channel, thank you for watching. If you're watching me on Power Influence Radio on the YouTube channel, thank you. I said that already, didn't I? On the Facebook channel, thank you for watching. And if you're just hearing me on PowerInfluenceRadio.com, thank you for listening. All right, let's get into it. So, y'all know this is Just Being August. I am your host, your auntie, August. And today, I am so geeked up because we have here the podcast doctor. I said the podcast doctor. Notice I called you the podcast doctor because we're at the podcast doctor studio.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, you said it correct.
Okay, good. Yeah, good for me.
Yeah.
So we're here in Orlando, Florida at the Podcast Doctor facility. And I have the owner of the Podcast Doctor, Phil Bird, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up one time. Woo,
Hey, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
One quick fact about me with Thanksgiving. I am a terrible turkey cook. I cannot cook a turkey very well. Every year I post a picture of a burnt turkey on my social media.
Really?
I didn't make that. What you saw is that's just tradition for me to post a burnt turkey because I don't like turkey.
Okay, so you burn the turkey purposely because you don't like turkey?
I ruin it for everybody.
That's just jacked up.
It is jacked up.
Okay, so when you cook the turkey, please don't burn the leg and the wing part. You know that, what is it, the quarter? That's my favorite part of the turkey.
Yeah, the dark meat is the best.
Exactly. So don't burn. You can burn the rest of that crap. We don't care about that. But just don't burn that.
Yeah.
With that being said, you're the host. Well, not host, sorry. You are the owner, proprietor of the Podcast Doctor. And I don't like to really tell people about people. So.
Were you gatekeeping?
No, absolutely not.
Oh.
I'm just going to let you tell people about you. So go ahead for us. Give us your bio, your introduction. I mean, I know your bio, but I feel like if you hear it out loud and it comes back, it's a different feeling. So
Okay.
can you tell people who you are and what you do?
All right. Well, my name is Phil. I am the Podcast Doctor located at the West Oaks Mall in Orlando, Florida. I've been doing this literally my whole entire life, which you'll hear about later. I come from TV and radio background, and I love helping people, share their voice and share their vision with the world at an affordable cost. So I love doing what I do.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So you said you've been doing this for how long?
If you want to count years, maybe 30.
30 years. So that puts you over 30.
I'm 38.
You didn't have to tell us your age,
It's fine.
Okay. So you've been doing this majority of your life, really?
Yeah. This is all I ever wanted to do. Now, obviously, back then, the term podcasting didn't exist.
Right.
I wanted to be a radio host. And everything I did my entire life was aimed at meeting that goal.
What interested you about, or what is still the interest for just the whole entertainment, vocal, radio, just being able to communicate with people, but in a broader way?
Well, everybody's got a story to tell. You don't have to be famous to have a story to tell. So many people, so many regular people have way more amazing stories than any famous people you ever heard of.
I like that.
But in the end, we're all people. And I don't want to put a limit to where people can, use their voice. Because the most thing that I've noticed is that people who want to start a podcast, they don't know how to do it. And so I eliminate that barrier. So we do everything for you. And all you have to do is just come and talk.
That I appreciate you so much for, because I know with myself, I am very tunnel vision, and I'm good at multitasking, but not everything. Certain things I'm better at multitasking, but things like this, where I'm with a conversation, I feel like I do more focus on a person. So I want to give you your flowers now and say thank you so much for this, because it does helps us out. And y'all, if y'all didn't know, Phil was our Heartbeat Thursday.
Oh yeah.
So you're going to get your little gift for Heartbeat Thursday. Not today, but you'll get it soon.
Well,
just check your mail.
I appreciate it.
But how did that make you feel, though, being acknowledged publicly for the things that you do naturally?
It's so weird to me, though. I thank you. I really appreciate it. But
You're
someone
welcome.
like me, I don't take adoration like or admiration very positively. It's just so weird, you know. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So, you know, when people thank me or acknowledge me for something, I get a little weird. Like,
Yeah, you feel
I'm
like,
oh,
like,
thank you.
sorry, but not sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. I
Right.
appreciate it. You know, it's just sometimes I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm just doing what you're paying me to do.
Well, no, you're right.
You
You're
know?
not wrong.
Yeah.
But I say that because it is Thanksgiving, and being that it's Thanksgiving, people always want to say, well, what are you thankful for? Or why are you thankful? But someone's giving you thanks and accolades, and
Yes.
you clam up.
Yeah, it gives me a little bit of anxiety because, you know, I think we all have, especially entrepreneurs, we all have a little bit of imposter syndrome. So we feel like we don't deserve it.
You know what? I would have to agree with you because I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I think it's those who are always on the back end, you know, always behind the scenes where you're more of a helper. It's I won't say, yeah, it's harder to receive or be the recipient of goodness. Not saying that you're not worthy of it.
Yeah.
Not saying that you don't deserve it. Not saying that you don't need it. But because you're so used to being on the other end, it is very hard or very complicated to receive it. So I think if we start doing that, being the recipient of compliments and thanks and accolades and yada yada yadas, yeah, I said it, yada yada yadas. I think that it would make us be a little bit more out of our comfort zone. So
Yeah.
that's why I like to say, hey, tell us about you so you can hear about yourself. And that's only because it took for someone to tell me about me. And I still don't ever tell it all because you didn't tell it all.
No.
You sure didn't.
I gave you the quick elevator pitch, you know, the 30-second elevator pitch.
Yeah, so we're not going to do that. We're not. Let's talk about, so I really wanted to base this conversation be, you know, it is Thanksgiving, but I didn't want it to be Thanksgiving related.
Okay.
I had a conversation recently about head of households when Ashley was here the other week. And that's been like a topic
Yeah.
for me for the last, 2-3 weeks or whatever,
Okay.
about the role of head of household.
Okay.
And because we had a female talking about head of household, I want to know as a male, and, you know, I know we're in the world nowadays where we have same sex, you know, households and we have different sex households. But as this is just blatantly, I shouldn't say blatantly, from a male standpoint, you're a husband, you're a father. What is your term, or how do you describe being the head of household?
Well, the head of household to me is someone who is selfless and who cares about the family more than their own thoughts and wants.
Mm-hmm.
Rising tide raises all ships. So if I feel like my family is good, I'm good.
Say that one more time. Rising what?
A rising tide raises all ships.
Mm.
And the way social media is nowadays, it's almost vilified when you say head of household.
Right, it is.
And I don't want to do that. You know, a woman can be the head of household. The man can be the head of a household.
Mm-hmm.
Both really could be the head of household. Just you're handling what you need to handle. The other person's handling what they also need to handle. Like, I consider my wife to be also head of the household,
Right.
what she handles, because what she handles is way different than what I handle. But,
Okay.
you know, we are a unit. So, like I said, a rising tide raises all ships. So if one of us is doing great, everybody's doing great.
All right. And what about the provider? Do you think that the provider is a contender for head of household, or is just the head of household and the provider word is just different? It doesn't equate.
I don't think it equates in this day and age
Mm-hmm.
because people equate to provider to be different things.
Well, okay.
You know, if you can, for the financial provider, I am that,
Okay.
you know, but my wife makes our house a home. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she's a provider of love. She's the nurturer. She does most of the house stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that's not because she's forced to be at home.
Right.
That's just the way that our dynamic works. But she's the provider of that.
Okay.
And so I think the word provider isn't an umbrella term that you can put on everything. You know, I am the financial provider. You
Okay.
know, I take care of all the bills. I bring in all the income,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't mean I'm in control of everything. No, it doesn't work that way.
Okay, I get it.
You know,
So, in that aspect, and you're a father, so how does the children? Well, I'm gonna say how do the children? how do you want your children to come to a conclusion when it comes down to them being an adult and becoming husbands and wives and so forth? What type of dynamic do you want them to understand when it becomes when those roles are questioned?
So we have one child. He's a special needs child. So he's more on the low end of the spectrum. So he's going to be constantly have to be cared for 24/7.
Okay.
So he's probably not going to get married or not.
Right, that's not true.
Have that dynamic. You know. He's 13, but he's just low on the spectrum. So everything he needs has to be done for him, essentially. But if we were going to have any more children or anything like that, I would raise them. You guys are equal,
right?
Because I don't want them to see somebody put on a pedestal over them.
Okay.
You guys are both in the relationship together. You guys are both equal. You guys are both the prize. I hate hearing that talk where one person is the prize and the other person is not the prize. And why are you with them? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that they both parties bring equal value to the relationship to help the relationship grow, to help the family grow. And if both parties show equal love to each other, everybody benefits.
Okay. So being that you're a father of a special needs child, how does that help change the dynamics? Does it, I'm sure, raising a special needs child is I commend anyone because I got children who aren't special needs, but they special needs. I mean, at 13, he was, he's special needs, just in a different type of way. I love you, Dale. I love you so much. Yeah. But when it is on the lower end of the spectrum, how do you keep the balance, though, of being able to still come out and do what you do and you and your wife still be on the same level?
So she handles a lot of it. She did have to sacrifice her career to be able to take care of him because with him, it's a 24/7 job. He needs to be constantly cared for. Every single simple thing that some people really take for granted, he has to have done for him. So like waking up, using the bathroom, washing himself, brushing his teeth, putting his clothes on, putting his shoes on, going to the doctor's appointments, all that stuff is I mainly lean on her for the most part, going to school and all that stuff, so it's mostly on her, which is extremely difficult, which is why she shouldn't have to worry about any of the bills in the house.
Touche,
you know
yes.
what I'm saying? Because that's, now granted, I can do that as well too.
Right.
But if I'm able to focus on the business and keeping our house afloat and keeping the cars running good, keeping, everything else running fine, then that's what works for us.
So I like how you said that she can, or you can, but you have it where you guys do balance each other out. So how does that make you feel? And people, they not gonna like me. You have average households where the kids aren't special needs. They have trouble in school, and I'm not doing a comparison, but you have a lot of relationships that end up dismantling because of the children, whether it be special needs or non-special needs. And you have kids nowadays who just have behavior problems or they just are whatever the case may be. How do couples make that work? Or why do you think, no, wrong question, sorry. Why do you think it doesn't work out? Do you think it's because they don't equal out each other, they don't balance out each other, or it's just like, I'm not getting what I need, so I can't give you what you need, and this kid is just giving us all what we don't need?
I think it's a mix of all of those. For one, I think people are becoming parents too early.
I agree.
To where they don't really know their partner or really even have those discussions on how they're even going to raise their children, first of all. So then that comes into play. And then there's a lot of different or conflicting ideologies when it comes to raising children. Now with special needs children, it's different. Throw the rule book out the door because there aren't any rules, right? Yeah. So with me being away for the most part, I assist. And like I said earlier, that's how she provides.
Right.
So if Dominic, my son's name is Dominic, if he needs anything, I mainly find out how I can help take that off of her plate instead of me saying he needs this, he needs that, because with special needs kids, they follow routines. So if I'm coming in and disrupting that routine, that may not be beneficial for him. It might stroke my ego because I'm making the rules or whatever, but it's not going to help him out.
Gotcha.
So he's used to mom doing this for him. So mom should do it. I can help mom, or I can take something else off of mom's plate so she
Gotcha.
can focus more on that.
Now, do you think that society makes it less complicated for parents or households, single parents, dual households with raising a special needs child?
I think society makes it more complicated because having a child on the spectrum, which is a very big spectrum, I think some people who are very vocal are a part of a small minority,
Right.
right? So they put their experiences and they generalize it to all people who have special needs kids, which is not the case at all. And that's one of the issues that I have. And I've been very open about this when I talked about it. It's like, I don't like the autism family community. Sorry, guys, I don't.
Oh no! Please speak your mind. We're on an auntie show. Oh,
And
you tell the truth.
the reason why is because my son is even a minority of a minority percentage when it comes to special needs kids. When you hear about special needs kids, you just hear some of them they're just like quirky, or they have something weird about them, or they have social issues. No, my son is the severe,
Okay.
right? So, he's suicidal, he's violent, you know what I'm saying? A lot of things happen to where I don't even want to talk about it sometimes, And
Right.
so when you hear parents of other special needs kids who don't experience that version of autism put their opinions and thoughts on that stuff, that pisses me off.
Right.
It really does. And so I don't like that. And it hurts because it makes me feel, or my wife feel, less of a parent because we're not going through those experiences that you
Exactly.
are. You're generalizing it, and like, no, that's not the case. That's really not the case. And so so that percentage of autism community, we are very quiet. You don't hear that much about us because it's not glamorized. It's just not the autism that's glamorized.
So my mom works at a behavioral health facility here, and I know she's told me a lot of things that happen, especially with children, when it comes down to just behavior problems. And I know that you just said it's different for autism, and it is. But why do you think when you have a different situation that's not glamorized, so to speak, or it's a low percentage, why do you feel like that particular part of the community gives you slack? You know what I mean? Because like yes, okay, so your kid has autism and your kid just, Lord forgive me, drools a lot, or they have complications with their limbs and stuff. But this one over here, like you said, you have the suicidal, that's a big thing, and he's a teenager, behavior issues on top of that. You have so many stack on stack on stack, and the over here, how do you guys be able to rise up and have that same amount of vocalization and get the awareness and not be shunned or feel less than because this community is bigger because their issues are milder than yours?
It's tough because you want to comment on all of the posts that you see, but it's a losing battle. It really is. So sometimes you just need to, if you want to be vocal about it, just say what you need to say and then don't look back at it.
Got you.
Let it run its course. If you're gonna get engagement, but you're also gonna get the disagreements. And so what? Some people are gonna judge you, right? It happens. But with my wife, she just doesn't post it because she just doesn't want to hear it.
Right.
Because if you have not lived our shared experiences, you have no opinion.
Exactly.
And so for the most part, that small percentage of autistic family members and parents, they don't talk because someone else is going to put their experiences on that and it doesn't work. Or they say, oh, he needs more discipline, or he needs that. That does not work. It don't work like that. Like the crazy part is, and I'm sure everybody does. We're just humans, right? You ever have a friend who has an issue and you say, well, have you just tried this?
Oh,
right?
yes.
No, thank you. You said, what you said right there, that's going to fix everything. You know what I mean? And I get it. You guys are being sincere about it, but I don't want to hear that. I've tried. We've tried everything. And some things work, some things don't, but we appreciate the unsolicited advice, but we don't need it.
Oh, I like that word, unsolicited advice. I'm like, man, just get off my phone.
Yeah.
For real. Hush. Yeah. And I get what you're saying because I love my kids to death. But I was that mama, when I tell you, I couldn't go out of town without being on my phone. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had cameras, I have the alert set up, and like I said, people are like, oh, why can't you just relax? No, because you don't know. I trust me, I know what's going on and I'm not even there. Mm-hmm. Let me handle it. So with that being said, we want to tell them to shut the up. How can we get them to see our side of it? Or
You can't.
Oh,
You can't. It's almost like trying to change the opinion of someone who's obsessed with a certain political candidate. You just can't. No amount of facts, no amount of logic, no amount of reasoning is going to change someone's opinion who's already been set in stone. It's an uphill battle. Save yourself the energy. Save yourself
the mental strain.
The mental strain,
Yeah.
and let them be them. Just do you. You've done your part. You don't need to convince them otherwise.
So how do you and your wife stay grounded and without the whole situation getting you guys out of character or putting you against each other? What makes you guys stay as a united front?
It's tough sometimes because we do butt heads a lot. I'm not going to say our marriage is perfect. No, by no means.
Well, no one's marriage is perfect.
It's
I think
perfect.
when people say they have a perfect marriage, it's a perfect marriage in their head.
That's true. Yeah.
Let's keep it a buck. It's a perfect marriage in your head. Not saying to those out there watching, if you got a good, 100% marriage, yay, you're at that low spectrum then. Because, Hunte, my parents been married for over 30-something years. And I know from them, my mom used to tell me a long time ago, she said, at certain point of time when you're in a marriage, you basically become together. It's like, okay, you're married, the sex is still there to a point, but you're more companionship. So marriage should not be more so as thinking about it's perfect. It's, that companion, because, the lyrics say to death do us part. That actually means something, because when you're on your deathbed, who gonna take care of you? Because them kids they ain't worth nothing.
No.
So I get that, and I'm happy to see that you guys do that you can, that it's not perfect, but you do try to keep it where you're in a grounded situation.
Yeah, I mean, and we both have our own hobbies and stuff that we like to do that keep us occupied. Obviously, I'm here.
Right.
I'm here or
Doing your
or my other
hobby
job.
/ job.
Yeah, doing that. But she has the things that she does, and when we are together, we do collaborate on those things. So she helps me out with a lot of ideas here, and I help her out with her stuff that she wants to do too. So it's mutually beneficial for us. And then, we stay grounded by focusing on what we plan on do for the next week for our son. And so we
that's
kind of
right.
map that out too.
So when do y'all get to spend some alone time together?
It was very rare.
Y'all better go in the back.
If our son goes to sleep, then yeah. Then,
you better turn that washing machine on. I'm just saying, y'all gotta do some things. You feel me?
yeah, it's tough to date. It really is, because we don't really bring him out much because
Right.
Don't like the views that he gets, the responses that he gets, because he's big. My son is big. He's 5'10", maybe 230. He's 13, but he has the mental capacity of a 3-year-old.
So, do you think that it's a society issue? The fact that you are more not shunned, but you're more geared on, I'm not going to bring him out because I don't want to deal with that. So, do you think if society was a little bit, or either society had a place? Like if there was a facility here that catered to families, that had events and stuff, that you could bring him out, you and your wife can come and spend time together as well, and you can be able to, be grown. Would that make it better or give it some
Absolutely.
ease?
Yeah, it absolutely would. We looked. There aren't that many places that can accommodate. Some of them say they're autism friendly, but the only thing they really do is just lower the lights. That's it. Or the people that work there, they're not trained therapists, so they're not going to know what to do in case our son or anybody has a meltdown. You know what I mean? They don't know. They don't know how to operate in those spaces, which is why. Because my son is also nonverbal,
Okay.
so he doesn't talk. Now, when I say he doesn't talk, doesn't mean he doesn't make noise. For someone who doesn't talk, he's the loudest person that I know, right? But you have to be around him to know what certain things mean, So that also gives us some anxiety, because if we leave him somewhere, how are they going to know he communicates? Now, he has an iPad that says what he wants, but there's still these nonverbal cues that you have to see, for him to be able to communicate with people. And so if there was a safe space that was around us, great. But we tend to not really go places that we know there's going to be an issue, because he has anxiety issues too, and he's so large. I can't hold him back. My wife can't hold him back, and so there's a danger situation too, because he's unaware of danger.
Okay.
He doesn't know. Now, when I say he was suicidal, that means he was not actively trying to hurt himself.
Right,
he
right.
just doesn't know what danger is.
Exactly.
So he'd walk in the middle of the street and then
Exactly.
not know, and so I'll give you a story of society, right?
Yes.
And this also, as a black father and you're a black mother, that you probably had this conversation with your child about interacting with the police, right? My son is different, right? And so he was having a severe mental crisis at one point. It was in public. My wife was with him. She couldn't contain him. I had to leave here and go assist, because he's a little more docile with me.
Okay.
Right. So I had to go assist. He calmed down and everything, but he made a scene at the store.
Right.
Right. My wife, she shut down because she was
Overwhelmed.
And so, we go back into the store. It's Publix. So we're at the grocery store, right? The police are there, right? Not because of him. They're just there shopping.
Yeah.
Right. So I went to go grab the police officer. I walked over there, asked him to come. Hey, can you call me? Obviously, he looks at me like, whoa.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Right.
Wait a minute. Black man go physically to the police
Yes.
and ask them for help.
Well, let me tell you what
Plot
happened.
twist.
Let me tell you. So I go walk over to him. I say, hey, can you come assist me with something? He's shopping. This dude is shopping. He's got a cart full of boar's head meat. He's like, what? I'm like, just come here. So he's already on like, what am I walking into?
Right.
Right. So my wife, my son are standing there, and I said, hey, I just want to let you know, this is my son. His name is Dominic. He's special needs. He's low on the spectrum. I just need you to see a face and get used to him, just in case if you ever get called and you see him, so you don't kill him.
Wow. That man forgot about his sandwich and just was like, what?
Yeah, because he's not going to respond to command.
Right.
He's violent,
Yeah.
and he's black. What do you think the first thing police are going to do?
I mean, we live in America.
Yeah. So I had to stop him, say, hey, look at this face, to know he's not really a threat. Because there may be an incident to where the police may have to get called, and they're not going to know that he's special needs, or he won't conform, he won't respond. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to react to how they're trained.
So what did the police officer say?
He was grateful. He said, thank you. We took a photo together.
Oh, okay.
I gave it to the Ocoee Police Department. They have it. So,
okay.
You
know what? I'm glad you did that. Because it is so true. I have preached that to my son, and my son is, he's light skinned, and he has two, he's Puerto Rican and he's black, but he's lighter than me. But he hangs around a lot of, I know we don't switch this conversation, but we do hang around. He has a lot of Caucasian friends. Well, he has a mixture. I call them the Creek Boys, because they literally be in the creek. But with that being said, I always have to tell him before he leave certain things. Be cautious, be aware of your surroundings. If you bring in a new person, if a new person come in the scene that you don't know, side eye him or her, because you never know what they are, and that's not a bad thing. I hate it to be like a bad thing to say, but I care more about my kid's safety than the next person's kid's safety, because
understood.
I'm the one who's going to have to bury him if something happened.
Of course.
So the mere fact that you have a nonverbal child and who cannot verbalize these things, he probably is not have the ability to comprehend it. The mere fact that you was able to do that is a good thing, because society does not think before they come in a situation. The first thing they want to do, especially when they come down to police officers, is draw. They never assess the scene as it might just not be a threat. It looks like it's a threat, but it might not be a threat. And all police officers not like this.
No, I'm not knocking the police officers. They're doing what they're trained to do.
Right, which is doing exactly for violence.
But when it comes to right, and so what needs to be done, and I don't know how this is going to be done. It's just that because we see everything as we perceive it.
Exactly.
Right. So if you're in the grocery store and you are just a bystander, you see what's happening. You first of all don't know what's happening.
You're like, what? What's going on over there? She can't control her kid.
You're gonna call the police, and you're gonna say, there's a large black man assaulting a woman.
Right.
You're not going to say, "Oh, I think he may be special needs."
Or that's he's with his mother.
Yeah, they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a communication issue, and like I've met with some of the sheriffs from other counties, and they're actively trying. So I'm not saying anything bad about them. They're doing what they're trying to do what they need to do, but just got to remember how that information is portrayed to them,
Right?
Because they wouldn't know. Now, if they knew,
Exactly.
first of all, then maybe, which is why I wanted the police officer to see him, because if he. From the wild chance, if he's ever called, he's going to say, "Oh, this is the kid from the grocery store.
Right.
I know him. I'm going to the guy that I talked to is going to take a little bit extra precaution and say, okay, this is a special needs case."
So I have a question. Do they have? Well, they probably don't. Is there a way for things like this that either the child can have? You know how like I have to have an EpiPen, and when you have severe allergies, you can walk around with a bracelet so that if you like pass out or whatever, they know you have a blood type, yada yada. But is there a way that there should be something like that created?
A scarlet letter? Is that what you're saying? Yes, there is.
But I just answered my own question too, because I thought I was going to say, well, hey, isn't there a way that they can like scan it or something like, oh, he's special needs? But in my brain, it was communicating like, girl, please. The first thing they not finna be like, hey, let me see your wrist.
Yeah, no. I mean, now there are precautions like in the car. Our car has a thing on the back.
Okay.
His seatbelt has a thing on the seatbelt.
Okay.
He doesn't like to wear chains or anything like that, so I can't put something on his. He'll rip it off. But
right.
That's why we don't like to ever be away from him, because
exactly
we never know. So if there's ever it's a situation to where either of us are incapacitated and he's not, then that would be an issue. But we try to not be, but you never know. So but we have to take precautions as a family. So like in your car, he's big enough, he can open the door when it's driving,
oh wow,
unbuckle his seatbelt and get out if you wanted to. But as a father, I have to put the child lock is in the door,
right? Make
sure that's on, so you can't open the door from the inside, or lock the windows and make sure he can't do anything like that. So you just have to do your diligence when you can, when it's applicable.
Right. Well, let's just be honest. I mean, as as parents with regular kids, I may have not put a child lock on the door one time, and my child may have
opened the door.
Well, maybe the car door wasn't really closed.
Oh no!
And when I kind of stirred around that curve, and maybe the door kind of swung open, and I was like,
Tokyo Drift?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, but hey, she's grown now, so we know God. That good God grace chain, it saved her.
Okay.
I'm just saying, but
Yeah.
But I feel you on that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: with life now, as you growing up, you said you wanted to be. Basically, you always had this need to help people or help situations.
Not only that, I didn't start it that way.
Oh gosh. See,
No.
I thought you was a good person. No way.
So my radio career started back when I was 6 years old. Because I used to have a really bad stutter. It was terrible.
How did you sound? Did you sound like a rapper?
No, it was worse. It was, I can't think of anybody who, you were like Waterboy almost.
Oh.
It was really bad. So I was getting picked on, made fun of a lot until I got
fight a
bigger.
lot?
Until I got bigger than everybody.
Okay.
Then it really stopped. But
you was like, what? Say something.
Yeah. And so, I had to do years of speech therapy.
Okay.
And one of the parts of my therapy was to listen to radio hosts, or sometimes I would stay up late and watch Jay Leno or David Letterman.
Okay.
And I immediately fell in love with it.
Wow.
I fell in love with it.
So the stutter.
Yeah. And so I'm going to give this guy some credit, but Howard Stern, even though I was real young.
How young was you listening to Howard Stern now?
I was maybe 8. Yeah. Howard Stern, Casey Kasem, Art Bell, George Norrie, those were icons back in my day that I followed.
Okay.
I'm less than 10 years old listening to conspiracy theories at 1:30 in the
And
morning.
sexual content.
And sexual, but I didn't understand what it was
Hey.
really happening.
But the verbiage was there.
It was, but it was engaging. I love how the
Yeah.
conversation was, or I would stay up late and watch Jay Leno, David Letterman. So I was like, this is what I want to do.
Personalities.
Right? Yeah, because the way that they can control a room just from their words was amazing. And I was like, I love how they're speaking. So I would, now that I'm mentioning it, you can see that the way that I talk is like that, like the way their cadence. So like,
Okay, I get what you're saying.
I've had to learn that. I've had to learn with my breathing. I've had to learn to slow down with a lot of my speaking.
Okay.
Just because what would happen is my brain was operating much more faster than my mouth was. So that's when I would get stuck. Right. And so I did years of speech therapy. I was doing public speaking at 9, 10 years old just because it helped me with that. And so I would always, I had my friends around. We would record on the tape deck
Okay.
a show. Now, granted, the word podcast didn't come in until 2005, but that's essentially what a podcast was.
Right.
So you'd have a bunch of, fifth graders talking about the day in school.
Talking about the lunch lady. She didn't give me enough mashed potatoes.
Exactly, because we all wanted to be, we all wanted to do radio. I wanted to do radio and stuff
Right.
like that. I was like, well, that's my career. Everything that I'm going to focus on from now on is going to be this.
And your stutter. Clearly, I can't tell that you stutter.
Yeah, my stutter went away about around high school age. It was still, there, but not enough to notice. Only on certain words. Would happen like L words or M words randomly.
But you was able to retrain your whole body in accordance to getting you out of the stutter, which is amazing because even at that young age, you had a vision, you had a goal, and you worked so hard internally and internally, physically, whatever, all in a whole to overcome that. So you're an overcomer. You don't want to talk about yourself, but you're an overcomer, and it builds you to be able to be a father who can recognize difficulties and struggles, and now you have that patience from retraining yourself to handle your son.
Yeah.
See how that works out?
Yeah.
So how does wrestling play into this?
Well, so wrestling is theatrics, right?
Yes, indeed.
So me falling into that realm of theater, I was a theater kid. I liked theater. Wrestling was athletic theater, essentially. So the voices were big, the personalities were bigger, right? I immediately fell in love with it. My first wrestling memory was The Undertaker, right?
One of my favorites.
My grandmother is the one who actually got me into wrestling.
Your grandmother used to watch wrestling?
She loved herself some Dusty Rhodes,
Oh gosh.
and so The Undertaker was my first memory. Scared the heck out of me. But
Did you know it was fake then?
No, I thought it was real. I was like, they got a dead guy. He's dead. How can he lose?
He was not dead. He was
Right.
still shaking.
Right? I'm like, he can't lose. And so wrestling was a huge thing. And I just love now I don't like the community, but the community back then was
Tight.
tight, and The Rock, he's still my idol. I'm like 1 degree of separation from him.
Really?
Yeah,
So, Rock, if
so-
you ever watch me, hit us up. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm 1 degree. I know several people I know him, which is like, I'm so close. I'm so close. Like literally his trainer is a great friend of mine.
Okay.
Right. And I know his daughter, but anyway,
We almost there.
almost there.
Knock on the air. We're going to
Almost
pray
there,
about it.
right? Yes, but wrestling has always been such a fun thing for me. I used to want to be a wrestler. I did wrestle for a little bit, hurt my back, but we'll talk about that. But it's just the way that people can carry on and control a crowd. So I was all about the crowd work.
Right.
Like one person can control a crowd doing it with improv. So stand-up comedians were great. Wrestlers are great because they do it live, which is crazy. And so I thought that this is going to be a great career for me too. So if I could work for them at the time, I wanted to do that, which, I did eventually. We did collab on some stuff when I worked at ESPN, but that was, it was a dream of mine just to focus on radio. But wrestling was like, I love wrestling. Anytime I could watch it, it's great. I'm still going. I'm still a huge wrestling fan. I'm
Okay.
going to the Kia Center December 29th.
Okay, because I was going to ask you, you
Yeah.
still,
Yeah, so if you see me, I'll be at the Kia Center December 29th for Monday Night Raw. But yeah.
Oh my
I love it. I love it though. Even though I know it's fake, the injuries are real.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's fake far as.
It's predetermined. And the argument that I hate, the argument that I hate, people are like, oh, you watch that stuff? Don't you know it's fake? And I'm like, everything you watch on TV is fake,
Oh, yeah,
bro.
reality TV is fake,
Literally, every single TV show you watch. Do you really think Pennywise is real?
Right. I don't think it's fake, though. I know I said, do you think it's fake? It's fake, but I don't necessarily want to say it's fake. I think it is just like anything. It is, it's sketched out. It's a sketch show.
The results are predetermined.
Yeah.
That's really it.
We know you going to get DDT by Hulk Hogan on the back of your neck, and then he going to get up and get a chair. We know this. But it's the act of doing it, the physical behind it, the emotional. First of all, the emotional, because wait a minute, what did you say? He gonna what? He gotta hit me with a chair from jumping off of that rope. Nah, I'm good. I don't care how much money you got. We good. So as me, me thinking, I know I can't do it. But for a wrestler to actually get in the ring and be physical like that, it's way more than just a fake though. Because I mean, the injuries, the medical bills, the teeth replacements, bone
when
replacements.
people say that it's fake, they're diminishing what they do.
Craft.
Yeah. Now the results are predetermined. Yes, they are.
I mean, football predetermined. Let me tell it.
But yeah, it's. I don't think there's anything like it.
Okay.
There's nothing like it, because there was this comedian. I don't know who he was, but when you're scrolling through Facebook and you see these reels and you see people doing stand up.
Right.
There's one guy who was talking about wrestling. I don't know who it was. Hopefully, I can find it and I'll send it to you so you can reference this.
Okay.
But he's talking about why people think that wrestlers wouldn't be great actors, and then he was breaking down everything that they do.
There's acting.
Everything that they do, and it's like, how do you think they won't be good actors when they do this 300 days a year in front of an audience live with athleticism and make sure they follow the scripted events, all while doing this as a TV production.
And be entertaining.
That's
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So I was like, well, how would you not believe that The Rock or Batista would be a great actor?
Oh, man, I love me some Batista. Hey, Batista, how you doing? I'm just saying. Let me stop.
But yeah.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned ESPN. So how did you go from wrestling? Well, let's go back. You went from creating a podcast before it was a podcast, got over the stutter, got into wrestling, started wrestling, didn't finish wrestling because of your back injury. You accidentally hit somebody the wrong way. I'm playing. And then ESPN. Like, come on.
So
especially when you like wrestling.
So it was a grind. Like I said, when I was younger, I knew where my career path was going to lead me, right? I didn't care how I was going to get there. I just knew that was the goal, right? So I grew up in Virginia. That's where I'm from. And after I graduated high school, before that, I was still involved in everything AV. Okay. So we had our morning announcements were on TV. It was televised broadcast. I was a part of that every day, right? I didn't play football. Sorry. As big as I was, I didn't play football because I'm from Newport News, Virginia. Oh. And if you guys know anything about Newport News, Virginia, it's a super athlete hub, right? So Michael Vick, Allen Iverson, Marcus Vick, the Neptunes, Missy Elliott, Timbaland, they're all from
entertainment world capital. Let me stop.
And when I was in high school, Michael Vick's brother, Marcus, was running roughshod over everybody. Okay. My entire 4 years, our football team didn't win a game. So I knew, I didn't want to be part of that and break my body.
I know that's right.
Right. So I was like, I didn't want to do it. So everything I focused on was audiovisual related. So getting the new cameras, recording production movies, and being in theater. I would write screenplays and all that stuff too. And so I did that. After I graduated, my parents split up after I graduated. My mom moved to Florida, right? And she ended up getting ovarian cancer, so I came down here to help her out. Gotcha. Right? This is 2006, right? And everybody's first job, I think it's like a rite of passage here, is either you work at Universal or Disney. Oh, well, SeaWorld for me. One of the theme parks. Right. Right. And so I worked at Universal, and I was on the microphone.
Dang, the microphone and you've been like babies, huh?
Yeah, and I got to hone my skills. I got to draw in large crowds of people. And I was like, this is it. I know what I'm going to do. So after I left Universal, I ended up going to broadcasting school. Oh, okay. So what broadcasting school did you go to? I went to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Okay. I graduated top of my class.
Of course.
graduated number one, and this fast forward. Now there's a few years in between. I met my wife. We had a child. Got married, all that. So I went to school. I was working 2 full-time jobs and going to school and still finished top of my class.
And married.
And married with a baby.
Boy,
right?
Had a household for real.
And so the day that I graduated, I got a call from the radio station I idolized. And I was like, and I knew who it was because I knew the radio station number. And I was like, while I was walking, they called me. And I told the dean, I was like, hey, this is the radio station. Can I answer it? He's like, answer it, put it on speaker. So I did it, and they offered me a job right away. And I was like, oh, snap.
Oh, awesome.
It was super cool. Yeah. So I immediately started working for Real Radio 104.1. It's a talk station in Orlando, run by iHeart now, but it was Clear Channel back then. That's how I got in. It's like, I am in.
Right.
I am in. I'm here. Great. I did wonderful there. I worked there for a year, and then I went to the sports station that they had. I went to the sports station that they had. And the show I was on was called The Kevin Sutton Show. You probably know Kevin. He's pretty local here.
Okay.
You probably know his wife, Myra Uribe. She's running for mayor, Orange County mayor.
Okay.
We did that show for several years, and maybe in 2015, Kevin did something that went viral. Kevin camped out in front of Best Buy for 36 days for Black Friday, right? But
this was in the 90s?
No, this was 2015, 2016. He has a world record. It went viral. So, Kevin was on Good Morning America. He was on all these other TV shows. So ESPN saw us because ESPN is ABC, ESPN.
Right,
Disney,
they're all
blah,
connected.
blah. So they called us, was like, hey, we love what you do. Would you like to bring your show to ESPN? And of course, they're
like, yeah, why wouldn't I?
No, absolutely. So we went over to ESPN. We were there for 3 years. It was great time. So, and at that time, I was still helping people with podcasts because I had a podcast. My first official podcast was in like 2009. It was a car show.
Okay.
And I always wanted to help people with podcasts because I knew a little bit more than the regular person when it came to the technical aspects.
Clearly, yeah.
But people didn't know what the first thing to do because there was still a big barrier on how to even get started. And so I was going to people's houses, helping them set up their podcast equipment and doing all this stuff. And so then they started calling me Dr. Phil because my name is Phil. And like, you're helping us with our stuff. We'll call you Dr. Phil.
Right.
So then that carried over. That was my name on the radio, but it was Dr. Phil, so I didn't get sued.
Right.
Right. And so I started helping people with that. And then I just knew there was a tide turning to where I knew podcasts were headed. And I felt that radio at the time didn't want to grow. They were happy with where they were at and they didn't want to grow anymore. So I didn't renew my contract in 2019.
Okay.
I was like, I know where podcasts is headed. I think there's a spot for me in this world in Orlando to be able to help people and also help myself.
Right.
To where I can create a space for myself. And trust me, that was a tough decision. I had my dream job when I was 25.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? This is what I literally worked
so hard from 9 years old, right?
To get there, and I got there. Now what? So I'm like, some people work their whole lives and they never get to where. So
this is true.
I felt that's where the imposter syndrome came in because I felt like I didn't deserve it at first, and so I was afraid to tell people what I was going to do because I didn't want to fail at it,
right? And
B, I was just nervous, And so I'm like, well, I've never started a business before.
Didn't know what to do. How to do it.
Ooh,
but
it's scary.
The outcome.
Yeah.
The podcast doctor.
Yeah. Podcast doctor's here. I started in 2019. So it's going on 6 years. 6 years now. We've been in this building for over 3 years, but my first building was over off of downtown Orange Ave. It was in the back of another building.
Right.
And so I started helping people. And the crazy part is the day I moved into the new spot was the day everything shut down with COVID.
No way.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, this is fate. This doesn't mean this is not good for me.
So how did you maneuver from that?
I'll tell you, COVID actually
helped, didn't it?
Really exploded my business. And as much as I hate to say that because I lost my dad from that,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It really did help me, you know? So like, cause, the system that you guys see here, well, you don't see it, but you see it.
I see it. I
You know,
love it.
it's not traditional. And that's where I think I've made my mark in the podcasting world, because the way that I do it is not traditional. So when people come into the studio and I show
Hey,
them,
don't be giving them all my little stuff away.
but it's all good.
I'm playing.
I had those doubts too. Like, well, am I exposing too much?
But you're not, because you give everybody an opportunity to put themselves in it.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's still me. Even though I can show people this is what I do,
Right.
you still can't be me.
Exactly. You know what? That is a true thing, what you just said. I can show you what I do. I can show you how to do it, but it won't be me.
Yeah.
And that's a mouthful, because if you, and I'm sitting here, I'm in awe, because from 9 years old, there's not a lot of us in this world that can say, I know what I want to do. I'm going to overcome my obstacles myself, and I'm going to be this person. Even with whatever, the disabilities you may have had, whatever, physical, mental, the struggles, death, strife, you still kept on that path. The car never turned over. The car never, you never drifted off that path to another. And a lot of us can't say that. I can tell you, I done been about 6 different paths myself. I'm on path 18 now.
I'm not going to lie, though. It hasn't been easy. It has not been easy.
Oh, absolutely not. Nothing is
easy. I'm putting the roses on the situation here.
Wrong word. I will not let you say that. You are showing people what strength look like. You are showing people what resilience look like. You're showing people what consistency look like. See, here's the thing. Regardless if you have had issues, regardless if you've had hard times, struggles, the mere fact that you're sitting in this chair, smiling on your face, very charismatic, and just like with a bunch of joy. Every time I see you're joyful, that's what counts. I don't care what happened 5 years ago. I don't care what injuries or what. That's not what people should see, because those depths of you is what made you.
Yeah, I agree.
So if that wouldn't happen, you wouldn't be here.
I agree. I mean, it took a lot for me to realize that I know I wanted it. Mm-hmm. This is what I wanted, and I wasn't going to stop at nothing to get it. But there was definitely a journey. You know what I mean? I had to go through a lot of things just to get there. I didn't see my son for 10 years. First 10 years of his life, I didn't see him because I had to work.
Yeah.
My wife was home with him. I was on the road. I worked 20-hour days. So let's say it's Monday, right? Mm-hmm. At my job number 1, I'm up at 6:00 in the morning. I work until around 4:30. Come home, maybe sleep 2 hours. He's probably taking a nap by then. So sleep 2 hours. Then I have to go to the radio. I was on the radio until 9. Right? Then I immediately leave the radio and go do my night job. So then I work my night job from 9:30 to 6.
Okay.
I did that for 10 years.
Wow.
Straight. I remember I think the longest stretch I had without a day off was almost 2 years straight where I didn't have a day off.
So with all of that you just said, how did that transition into now?
I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I really am. And I think hard work does pay off. Mm-hmm. It really does. But you have to. What's what I'm looking for? You have to see the end game, and you kind of have to know that there's going to be a journey, and just appreciate it more. Because I feel that if I didn't have or didn't go through those struggles, I may have given up when I had some adversity here.
Right.
I don't think if I didn't have any of the adversities that I went through in my life, I probably wouldn't appreciate this as much.
I know that's right. So let me ask you this. Where have you found peace? Or where do you find peace?
Here. Find peace here.
That's wonderful.
I find peace here. Obviously, my home. My home is my peace, but I think that's a given. My wife is my peace. But professionally, my peace is being able to allow other people to achieve their dreams as well.
Okay.
You know, a lot of the shows that I do, you don't see my face, you don't hear me. I'm back there behind the scenes, hitting the buttons and stuff.
Right.
But just to see someone's reaction when they walk in here, oh wow, this place is amazing. Or we record a show and they're like, I had a really good time. I said a lot of things that I didn't think I could. Or to see an idea, the genesis of idea being executed the way that they wanted to, it is exactly what they wanted. That brings me peace.
So I do this thing called heartbeat moment.
Okay.
So what would be your heartbeat moment through that has shaped you, that has transitioned you? And you probably said a few of them, but one thing that has stood out in time for you, that would be your heartbeat moment. Every time you think about it or it crosses your mind, it just gives you great joy.
My dad, you know, he was a terrible husband. I'll admit that.
Can't be everything.
My dad was an awful husband to my mom. Their relationship was not good. My dad was a great father. Right? He understood that I was not going to do football. So he had some issues in the beginning.
Right.
But he saw where I wanted to go and he was full on. He paid for my broadcasting school. Before he passed, I brought him to ESPN. I brought him on my show, and he loved it. So stuff like that. My father being able to tell me that he was proud of me was great.
Oh, I like to hear that. You know, I always say that. You know, sometimes I said I will take 18 years of the complications of, I'm not going to use the word deadbeat father, but of a not consistent father for the remainder of the life being an awesome dad.
Yeah.
So I am happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Y'all, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say, if you're in the Orlando area and you want to create something, man, y'all hit Phil Bird up. So where can they find you, call you, email you, text you? Well, y'all can't text him because he married. He married y'all. If y'all didn't hear that, he married. She don't play them games. But for business, where can they find you?
You know, I worked really hard to be able to say this. Okay. Google me.
I know that's right.
All you have to do, Google the Podcast Doctor Orlando. I'm everywhere. So that's the simplest thing you can do. You can visit my website if you want to. It's thepodcastdoctor.com. Everything is there, but literally just if you just type in Podcast Studio Orlando, I built my business up to where I'm top ranked in Google.
Yes,
and
you are.
I didn't do that. That didn't come easy. So I had to consistently deliver. So I feel that I can say that and not feel ashamed at being able to say that. So if you just Google the Podcast Doctor, you're going to find me. So there you go.
And the last thing, since this is Thanksgiving, what is something that you would want to give as a reflection for everyone to be, you know, when it comes down to things? Thanksgiving is not always about the food and yada, yada, yadas, but the thanks behind it.
Like, what am I thankful for, essentially?
Well, you've already said it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, my family, my health, my career.
In the podcast?
In the podcast world. But if I was going to give a tip on staying thankful, is just remember where you came from, really. Remember where you came from. And if you have a goal and a vision, just think on what you plan on doing when you get that goal. You know, don't be complacent. Always try to push the goalpost, because I had my dream job when I was 25, and I was like, oh no, that's it. So
Yeah, well, now you're your dream career. You create a whole fantasy here. Yeah. And again, thank you so much, Phil, the Podcast Doctor, for all that you do. Thank you for allowing me to come here and be a part of your whole. Man, there's a whole vibe up in here. It's a vibe. With that being said, y'all, this is your auntie, August, on the Just Being August show. Remember, catch me every second and fourth Thursday of the month. You can also rewatch, share, like, comment, and all on the, I forgot my words.
Power Influence. Right?
I know, right? But, you know, I just thought of that turkey. I'm so sorry. That turkey just came to my head.
Oh,
burnt turkey.
You got the itis.
I do. But please watch me on the Power Influence Radio, YouTube and Facebook, powerinfluenceradio.com. Y'all can always Follow me on all platforms at Just Being August. With that being said, y'all happy Thanksgiving. Love y'all. And y'all have a good night. Oh, and remember, it takes only one heartbeat.